morning, family. So check this out. Your obedience is linked to someone else's life. All right, check this out. So this morning I woke up when I was supposed to, about I think like 3:30, 3:15, 3:20, something like that. Because whatever time I get up, I'm supposed to be on my knees before the man in his presence at 4:15. I woke up, Lord, when it's like I felt like I just couldn't do it today, and I just couldn't do it. So I laid there, finally talked myself out of it, and I went to sleep. I woke up at 5 something. Now, my oldest son, he played basketball, and he have practice before school actually starts. So he usually gets dropped off a couple hours before school start, and he didn't make practice today. I'm not the one that usually take him to practice. You know, my wife does. I guess it's one of them, you know, one of them deals where it's like, you know, the ride to school, the bond, the connecting, the talking. So I guess that's why she chooses to do it. The same thing with my 3-year-old. Like, I love taking him to school because, I mean, I get to spend a little more time with them. And, you know, that is the time that, you know, I pray with him before taking him into school, encourage him, and also give him an assignment today. Just like, you know, we all are supposed to get an assignment for today, some type of instruction for today. That's how we learn our calling. It's obedience, carrying out whatever God instructs us to do for that day. So I'm trying to you know, prepare him, you know, basically to get ready for your journey. So I guess that's one of them type of deals where, like, nah, don't worry about it, I do it because this is our time. So she overslept because I woke up at 3 something. She was still awake, reading. I'm like, that's crazy. So, you know, so she overslept because she was up so late. So I went in there and her phone was just lit up with the GPS for, like, you know, to get to school, so she can check the time to see how much time she had before she actually have to leave due to the traffic and everything else. So I went in there. It was like 5:24, something like that. So I asked her, I'm like, Kane, not going to practice today? And it was in that moment. It was in that moment that I realized my obedience can affect my family. My disobedience can affect my family. Now, had I got up when I was supposed to get up, then I could have woke him up and took him to school. Now I just dropped him off. All right. I didn't do any of my morning routine. Any of it. I wake up in the morning. I'm before the man by 4:15, praying, listening more than I am talking. Get at the table, open the word. I get done with that, find a prayer. He give me a word to share with the brothers in the ministry, and he give me instructions for the day. I didn't do any of that because I talked myself out of getting up, doing what I'm supposed to do, doing what I know I'm supposed to do. And because I didn't do what I was supposed to do, guess who was affected by it? Everyone coming behind me under my roof. So I want to tell you, your disobedience, you can feel like you're doing everything you're supposed to do. You can feel like that, you know, like, oh, my family good. And pretty well might be. But are you a follower of Jesus Christ? Are you spending time with him? Are you at least trying to walk with him? Are you holding yourself accountable when you're not doing what you're supposed to do in his eyes? Because it's not necessarily your wife feeling like, oh, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, because she have her own perspective how things supposed to be. It's more so of her knowing that you're doing what you're supposed to do, because, and the reason why she know, not because of the material things, the external things, or shall I say the external validations, not from that. It's knowing in her spirit, knowing in her heart, knowing in her mind, because she know, although you continue to make mistakes, although you continue to slip up at times, she knows, she see you spending time with God in his word, praying. So she see that you're trying. So she know you're doing all that you can. When you're waiting on God, you spending time with him and waiting for his direction, waiting for his lead. She know, although the situation may not be ideal, she know that you're doing all that you can, is because you're seeking him. You're trying to live for him. And not only are you waiting for him, but you're working in what you are supposed to be doing legitimately inside his will, waiting for him to open up the door of opportunity, because you're preparing in the moment. You're not just like, well, I'm waiting on God and you're not doing anything. No, like, you're waiting on God, but you're still active. You're still carrying out the instructions that he give you daily. So she know that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So in turn, then she know that her family is good. She know that although this situation isn't ideal, she know that God is going to provide a way, because you are positioned where you are supposed to be positioned under Christ, as the same as Christ and under God. Although they are the same, but it's all about order. So your disobedience is not only affecting you, but it's also affecting your family. It's also affecting someone else's life, because your obedience is linked to someone else's life. Your obedience is linked to someone else's future. Your obedience is linked to someone else's salvation. Your obedience is linked to someone else's peace, comfort, joy. It's linked to it. If you are, yes, joy comes from within. External things can't bring us joy. But when God brings about a peace to you, and he use you, you allow him to use you to spread that peace to someone else, something happens internally. Something happens internally. So when that thing happens internally, then the calm come, the refocus and shifting take place. It occurs. The focus is back on Christ. And now that joy that never left, now you can connect back with it. Because the enemy throws distractions. He have us to look at the not so ideal situations, and we focus on that, and we lose sight of Christ. So we no longer have that peace. And because we no longer have that peace, we're not we're not attached to that same joy that we once had when we was operating in peace. Your disobedience is affecting not only just you, it's affecting the advancement of God's kingdom, and when it come down to you doing what you are supposed to do, because God wants to use you. Remember, God's purpose for your life, the package deal, it includes others. It impacts others. It's not about just you. It's not about just your family. Yes, those are the top ones. You have to make sure your household is good, of course, first and foremost. But it doesn't stop there. So your disobedience it's affecting everyone that's coming behind you, beneath you, and also across from you, because you're supposed to speak to this person to the left of you. You're supposed to help this person to the right of you. You're supposed to be obedient, because what God is trying to do, it just doesn't stop with you. The blessing just doesn't stop with you. It flows through you. It's meant to flow through you. It's not supposed to stop with you. So stop being disobedient and get on course and do what you're supposed to do. Your family are being affected by your disobedience. Be obedient to the will of God and get on course. Get on track and start living your purpose, because it's not just about you. All right? Be obedient. God have a plan for your life, and God have a plan that He's trying to flow through your life. All right? You guys have a great day. Much love.